What's up guys, it's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and Real Sociedad in La Liga, which of course saw Barcelona win emphatically on the scoreline by 4-0. We're going to take a look at some of the key performances in this match from the player and from the team, discuss what Flick said after the game, as well as some interesting stats coming out after this game, of course all coinciding with 5 key things that we did learn from this game. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. Also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, the first thing that we learned from this match is how positionally on the pitch Barcelona are improving. We saw that of course in the match against Atletico Madrid and now in this match again as well. You can see on the screen here the score ratings for Barcelona's XI for this match, a lot of them in the blue, and you have of course Raphinha, the worst outfielder. Of course Chesney in goal did absolutely nothing, that's why his rating is so low, but overall you can see here a great performance nonetheless. Now if you take a look at the average positioning for the players in this match, left hand side is the starting 11, right hand side with the substitutions being incorporated. Again, the high line is right on the halfway line, even past it. We've seen Barcelona kind of evolve in this line. Usually the back four would be just in our own half, and now we're seeing them push up even more. This might be an adjustment that Flick has made recently, because we've only seen this now in the last 2 or 3 games. You can see again Rafa being inside as that left forward, Lamine holding the width, and of course the 3 midfielders in the middle. Same on the right hand side as well, everyone coming into their set positions. You could say Eric Garcia, you can see how high he's been even though he came on for only half an hour. It just shows how much we were in the Sociedad half, and we'll see that even more in these stats. Now Barcelona can finish the match with 77% of the possession, 2.9 xg, 5 big chances, 33 shots in this match, 12 corner kicks, felt like there was more in the game, 15 fouls, 745 passes attempted, 17 tackles, 6 free kicks, no red cards. And again, you can see the shot map there in the middle, 33 shots, only 10 were on target, 1 hit the woodwork from Pedri, 9 shots off target, 14 blocked, 22 inside the box, 11 outside. I guarantee you those 14 blocks, at least 10 of them come in from Lamine Yamal just by himself. Of course, of the 5 big chances we did create in this game, we did score 3 of them, missing 2. Again, the 2 miss. I think that conversion rate isn't too bad, but again, hopefully we can convert those into goals. 3 through balls, 67 touches in the area, 3 fouls in the final third, and no offside. You can see here in the heat concentration as well that most of the attacks of Barcelona went down the right hand side in this game. Now here's the interesting part. We have here the concentration map of the ball of where the possession was spent in this match. 55% was spent in the Real Sociedad final third, 35% on the halfway line, and only 10% in the Barcelona final third. Now we talked about this in the, I believe, the Atletico Madrid game, where we had I think 15% in our own half, and then like 50% in the Atletico final third, and then like 40% on the halfway line. So again, Barcelona continue to dominate games. It's very important to do that, especially in your home matches, but love to see that, basically the whole entire play was spent in the Real Sociedad half. Don't take away their final third, just their half alone is where you could say 90% of the game was spent. Of the 745 accurate passes we did attempt, 678 of them were accurate. We had 21 throw-ins, 72 final third entries. We were 90% successful in our final third entries, 55% successful on the long balls, and 21% successful on crosses. We only won 46% of our duels, which again is quite low for Barcelona. Dispossessed 7 times, 48% successful rate on the ground duels, 42% on the aerial, 47% on dribbles, which again is quite high, and we'll talk about why that is later on. And we won 53% of our tackles, and we had of course no errors leading to goal. So again, what these stats show you is that it was a dominant performance, and positionally as well, you can see that Barcelona did improve a lot. If you look at positioning as well, you can go back here to the average positioning, and you can see here there's a structure. If you look at the previous average positioning, you can see not only the fullbacks being tucked in, you have one fullback pushing forward, one isn't. You can see how conjointed that Kounde and Gerard Martín are. That shows of course the balance, and again, all this will come as you improve and improve and improve. Now there have been some interesting stats that have come out from this game. Firstly, Barcelona have netted now 124 goals in 40 matches across all competition this season, the most by a La Liga team at this stage since the 59-60 season. this is an outrageous stat. I think we have the most, of course, we have the most goals in Europe. I think the next most goals is Real Madrid and PSG on like 104 or 105, something like that. So mind the gap. The gap is crazy. Also, now with Gerard Martín and Marc Casadó scoring in this game, Barcelona now have 19 different goal scorers this season, all competition, with only Real Betis having more in Europe's top 5 leagues. Again, I've always loved this. I was always fascinated by the stat. Back in the day when we had Messi, I would always love for at least every player to get 1 goal in the season. I think this season we're only missing Christensen, Hector, Fort, and Ansu Fati. Those are the 3 that haven't scored. Of course, Christensen and Ansu Fati can't even touch the pitch, let alone get a goal. But basically, I would say the most involved players, apart from Hector Fort, have all at least gotten 1 goal this season. So that's always a fantastic stat to see. Now, also in this match, Araújo got a goal and assist. He was the first Barcelona center back to get a goal and assist his match run against Osasuna. I don't know if we count that or not, because Mascherano did score a penalty in that game. So of course the penalty was given to him to finally get his first goal for Barcelona. So a bit of a fugazi stat there in my book. But again, getting a goal and assist is crazy. I think Araújo even said after the game it's the first time he got a goal and assist in his life, let alone for Barcelona. So we always take that. We always take that. Now, the biggest stat and the most impressive stat after this game, in my opinion, is the stats of Wojciech Szczesny, also known as Fumador, in goal. He's now played 13 games for Barcelona, 10 wins, 0 defeats, and 7 clean sheets. Of course, undefeated with Tech in goal, 7 clean sheets from 13. He now has more clean sheets than I think Inaki Peña has in his entirety for Barcelona in the first team. Again, his resurgence in this team has been nothing short of revolutionary. We look so composed at the back. The runs out are more successful. Apart from the Benfica game, I think he's been flawless in every single game. Even the game against Atletico Madrid, he has some great saves. The 4 goals were a bit unfortunate, but nothing he can do about them. So take away the Benfica game, maybe the red card against Madrid in the Super Cup final. I think Szczesny has been absolutely flawless. And finally, the biggest stat coming out of this game, this is my favorite one, but the biggest one is Robert Lewandowski now having 34 goals this season. He's now officially having his best campaign for Barcelona. Now, if you look at my match review yesterday, you look at the comments, everyone is hailing Lewandowski, and rightfully so. But I think it's time that we talk about, are we overhating on Lewandowski? Yes, of course, constructive criticism can definitely come in. The amount of goals Lewandowski probably should have this season is definitely upwards of 50 with the clear-cut chances that he has missed. But with his age, and in a high press, high intensity system, he's still performing. And I'm gonna say this, and I'll say this right now, even though maybe your name may not happen. But if we go on and win the Champions League this season, Lewandowski in my books is a Barcelona legend. I mean, the amount of goals he's scoring, he's almost pushing 100 goals for Barcelona as well. He's been an unbelievable signing for 45 million euros, but with every single penny, the revenue that he's brought into the club as well, from the Polish, network, advertisement, sponsorships, he's been astonishing, and his record speaks for itself. Even 26 goals last season, and what was it, a woeful season for him. That's the norm that world-class players set. 34 goals, and you still have people hating on him, which again, I think is, in a constructive sense, makes sense and is just, but still getting 34 goals. We used to praise Suarez for getting, just 25 or 30. Haaland gets 30 in the Premier League, and everyone glazes the hell out of him. Of course, it's not 34 in La Liga, it's 34 in all competition, but I think it's 20 in La Liga, so 14 outside, which is, Copa. Maybe I don't think he has a goal Copa against Atleti, Champions League, and then the Super Cup as well. But shout out Lua. I think he's been an unbelievable signing. I think the hate for him is a bit overdue. Again, it's hard to suggest it because I agree with the hate, but then again, I don't think it's worth it for him because he's still over. Despite the hate, he is still overperforming this season for his level, for his age. And I see a lot of people outside of Barcelona saying that Barcelona fans always overhate on Lua, but then you have to watch the games to see the amount of chances, the amount of stuff that he does that's so poor. And just the real, I think, eye-opener part here is, imagine we have a world-class striker. Now, I'm not saying Lewandowski isn't, but imagine you have a Erling Haaland, Alexander Isak, a Sergio Aguero, a Luis Suarez, a pure striker in the system would feast. Lewandowski is that, of course, he fits the profile, but ages, doesn't wait for anyone, which is a bit unfortunate. But shout out Lua, he's having an unbelievable season, and he's already now have his best season for Barcelona. Now, I do want to quickly touch upon some of the post-match quotes from Flick. He does give a bit of interesting insight on the game. So he came out saying that we always try to play like this as much as attack as possible. Also mentioned that we planned to start Gavi today, but he was feeling some discomfort. He wasn't feeling well again, like sick-wise, not like physical issue, and that's why Olmo started. He had a fever, and he said that he wasn't worth him playing today. Now, this is the second time that Gavi has told Flick what to do. He, of course, got him when he told him to sub on Pablo Torre ahead of him in the 7-1 game against Valencia in the Cup, and now he's telling him, hey, don't sub me on today, I'm not feeling it. I mean, I love Gavi, shout out to him, but it seems like he's a bit of a teacher's pet. He gets to tell Flick when to play, when not to play, and who to sub on, so keep your eyes on that. But again, Gavi was a bit sick, which I think does hint at the fact that he will start against Benfica. Also on Araújo, said he wanted Araújo to play 90 minutes, but he had to be subbed off because he had some discomfort, so we have nothing too serious there. We've got no reports coming in from the media, so hopefully nothing serious there. I'm not thinking of when La Liga will be decided. I'm happy to be league leaders. We have to think about the match against Benfica. Benfica have now had a week rest to prepare their match against us, so we have to be very careful. Casado and Gerard Martín deserve their goals. They're improving a lot and show their confidence with the ball. I'm really happy that Gerard Martín scored. He's improved a lot recently. You can see the confidence that he has with the ball and his positional sense in defense as well. At this level, Gerard Martín is putting pressure on Alejandro Balde. The fact that Flick names drops that and says that Gerard Martín is really pushing Balde to be a starter, for me is astounding, because you have Kounde dropping mid performances week in week out, cannot get dropped to save his life, and that Raphinha of course got dropped for being late, and now all of a sudden Gerard Martín has one good game. All of a sudden we're talking about him overtaking Balde. Let's calma, tranquilo. I think Gerard Martín of course had a great game. I still think he has a future at Barcelona in my books. He has to do a lot more for me to really change my perspective. Again, that first 6-7 months of the season was more. Again, first 6-7 months of the season is top 5 worst players I've seen put on a Barcelona shirt. So that is the level that we're talking about here. He also said that we subbed off Raphinha, Pedri, and Kounde for rest. It was important for them to be rested before the Benfica game, which of course was good. So a few important things here from Flick. Gavi was going to start, but has a bit of a fever. That's why he didn't start. Araújo was subbed off to discomfort. Hopefully nothing serious. And Gerard Martín is pushing Alejandro Balde for his starting position. Now, the second thing that we learned from this match, coinciding to what we just talked about right now, is of course Gerard Martín making a name for himself, and according to Hansi Flick, pushing to be a Barcelona starter at left back. In the match, got an 8.1 silver score rating. You can see, of course, his heat map playing all over the left-hand side. He played 90 minutes, had 1 goal, an XG of 0.19, XA of 0.14, 1 interception, 1 tackle, was dribbled past twice in this game, 6 ground duels, so won 3 of them, lost possession 5 times, did not commit a single foul, was fouled himself once, 75 touches, 97% pass accuracy, only misplacing 2 passes. He attempted 2 dribbles and was successful in both of them, attempted 3 crosses, successful in 1 of them, and he attempted 6 long balls and was successful in 5 of them. So what these stats show you is that, of course, going forward, he had a very, very good game. Defensively, though, got dribbled past twice, lost possession a few times as well. So I think, look, you have to look at the opponent that we're facing. We're facing a very heavily rotated Sociedad that also rotated a lot at halftime as well with 10 men. Not taking away from Gerard Martín's performance, but I think the talk, and especially from Flick, saying that he should be he's in contention for overtaking Balde, I think is a bit far-fetched. I think Balde's overall game is much more, is really higher, but let's not take away from the performance that we saw from Gerard Martín yesterday. I would agree with the fact that he has been improving a lot. I think 2025 he's been very solid. In the few games here and there that he has come into, he has been quite well. I can see why Hansi Flick does favor him a bit more over Fort, although maybe he only sees Fort as a right back and doesn't see him as a potential suitor for left back, even though he played left back, I believe, in one of the games this season. Was it I forget off the top of my head, but nonetheless, though, I think Gerard Martín is definitely making a statement, maybe pushing and making moves for him to potentially stay at Barcelona past the season. Of course, he has a renewal in his locker, so nothing will take away from that. So we'll wait and see what leads for him from now until the end of the season, but probably his performance of the season in this game yesterday. Now, the third thing that we learned from this match is how important Casado will be from now to the end of the season. As I mentioned a lot on the channel, his ability, of course, off the ball in possession as well is a very, very useful tool for Barcelona, and we saw it in this match. He got an 8.0 so score rating. You can see him heat map, of course, basically all over the midfield. You can see where he was mainly in those advanced positions in the middle and on the left hand side. In the match, he played 90 minutes, had 1 goal, 0.11 XG, 0.17 XA, 95 touches, 90% pass accuracy, only misplacing 7 passes. He had 1 key pass, he attempted 2 long balls, completed 1 of them. He attempted 13 ground duels and won 5 of them. He attempted 1 aerial duel and won it. Lost possession 8 times, committed 6 fouls, was fouled himself once, had 2 interceptions, and a total of 4 tackles as well. This is the profile that we missed in the Atletico Madrid game. I think it becomes more clear and more clear every single passing day. Casado's ability to not only control the midfield but also win those loose balls back, win second balls, is absolutely astonishing. And in big games it will be called upon a lot. We've seen it of course in the big games in the first half of the season, the second half of the season, where we have been doing well in those big games, a lot of them being draws. We missed Casado. Casado's ability again is very, very rare. You don't see any DMs like him in the world of football nowadays. You have either the hard one that goes in and gets stuck in, or you have maybe the more technical one. Or Casado is a mold of both. Frankie used to talk ahead of Casado because his progression on the ball, his vision is much better, and you can see that in the game as well. Despite Casado making good passes, you can see there's other openings that are maybe much more more effective, and he doesn't attempt it. When he does attempt it, it doesn't be successful. But off the ball, and when the ball's in the air, second balls, that is where Casado shines the most. And he's now the reason I believe we don't need to sign a midfielder, more specifically a pivot anymore. And I think that it has to be very, very well said here right now that Flick needs to use him against Benfica this midweek, without a shadow of a doubt. Because having Frankie in that kind of area will leave you well exploited, so you have to have that defensive coverage, and his defensive coverage is the best in the team, especially in the midfield. Now, the fourth thing that we learned from this game is how silky Dani Olmo is, and especially in pockets of areas when the opponents leave space, he exploits it like no tomorrow. In this match, got an 8.8 silver score rating. You see him, of course, with his heat map covering that whole entire final third of Sociedad, and also making good defensive recoveries as well, as you can see from those heated areas. In the match, played 71 minutes, had an XG of 0.45, got 2 assists, an XA of 0.51, 50 touches, 90% pass accuracy, only misplacing 2 passes. 5 key passes. He had the 2 long balls, completed 1 of them, created 1 big chance. He had the 3 ground duels, won 2 of them, lost just 6 times, committed 1 foul, and was fouled himself twice as well. This is the one weird thing that I of course read in Flick's interview, that Gavi was supposed to start in today's game. I think Gavi, like Casado, maybe you can use him in the bigger games to have more control, although you will lose some of that creative aspect. But Dani Olmo, I think, is just a full package. He is everything you need, but the issue is, again, kind of like Lewandowski, he's a bit inconsistent, but when he is consistent, he's flying. I think he has 12 stars in La Liga. With those 12 stars, he has 10 goal contributions, so 10 GA. I mean, the turn that Dani Olmo has, I just call it Dani Olmo turn, but that turn into space that he has is so undefeated. And against bigger teams where defenders will be shocked when that move is, executed on them, and, will freeze a bit, Dani Olmo is a player to exploit it. My issue with Dani Olmo in bigger games is that when he's not creative and when he's not on it in the final third, I wouldn't say he's useless, but he's basically nullified. But that's why we probably could argue why Gavi is starting ahead of him in the 10, because his all-round gameplay. So if he doesn't do well, Gavi in the attacking third, defensively, in second ball areas, he will come out on top. Where Dani Olmo, I guess defensively he does very well, very similar to like a Raphinha kind of profile defensively, but attackingly it's where you want Dani Olmo. Despite the second assist being a bit fugazi, he was still creating so much in the final third. Didn't have too many shots in this game as well. We all know how deadly his right foot is, and again, I feel like he still should be the starter no matter what in the 10, again, especially in big games. I can understand maybe tactically why you want to put Gavi, but if you have Dani Olmo fully fit, he's the one who starts. And the fifth and final thing that we learned from this match is, again, why Lamine Yamal is the most important player for Barcelona in their team. You can see in the match got an 8.9 silver score rating from his heat map, of course, playing on the right wing, and see how he's holding the width as well. He played 90 minutes, had no goals, no assists, but had an XG of 0.14, but an XA of 1.13, which shows how many times he's been robbed of an assist in this game. Had 107 touches, the most touches in a game in his career, 87% pass accuracy, only misplacing 10 passes, 6 key passes. He created, of course, 1 big chance. 4 of his shots were blocked. Physically, it was way more. He attempted 9 dribbles and completed 5. 13 ground duels attempted, 8 were successful. He completed 2 total tackles. Lost position 21 times. He also committed 2 fouls, was fouled himself once, and had 1 interception. Now, I'm not making the comparison here, but these numbers here are Messi-esque numbers in the sense of the dribbling aspect. If you look at my old match analysis back in COVID time, back in Messi's final season, Messi would be dropping performances like this: 16 dribbles attempted, 15 successful. He'd lose possession of the ball like 18 to 25 times, but he just create, and that is what Lamine Yamal brings to this team, and that's why I will die on the hill that he is the most important player for this team. You can say Pedri is the most consistent, you can say Kounde is the most vital, but Lamine Yamal is the most important. I think without him, this team has no longevity in it in a season, and that is why you have to take care of him, and this is why you have to highlight his performance. I think everything he did from the touchline until the final third was spotless, but in the final third, again, the shots being blocked and the XA of the his team is not finishing the passes, the final pass that he gives to them is a bit unfortunate, was a bit unlucky. I think Flick even mentioned after the game that he and Lewandowski were a bit unlucky in this game, and that sometimes happens, but not take away from the fact of what he does in build-up, defensive actions, interlinking play, attacks down the right-hand side, cooking defenders left, right, and center. Like, it's just the all-round perfect winger, basically like a Neymar out wide, because Neymar back in his day didn't really get too many goals and assists. Of course, he had some great numbers, but they weren't really emphasized on it. What you see with Neymar is the eye test on the ball, creativity, build up, and that's exactly what Lamine Yamal brings you. The awesome match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and Real Sociedad in La Liga. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. Of course, on the points that I mentioned, the 5 key points, do you agree or disagree, or maybe I want to bring up a point that I forgot to mention. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.